Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 1 of Blood Sisterz with a Z podcast. I am your host, Natasha, joined with my two lovely co-hosts who I will allow to introduce themselves very soon. Before you continue, please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you are up to date on when new episodes will be released. Every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will release a new Blood Sisterz podcast episode. Do it now. Subscribe. Thank you. So we are three dark thoughts but good-hearted gals from the Midwest who have a bit of, I guess we can call it an obsession with serial killers. What you can expect each week is for us to cover in great detail a different serial killer while giving our unfiltered opinions, theories, and crazy reenactments on death scenes we feel moved to show. Now, every episode will not come with a visual reenactment. It will be as random as this podcast. So it'll be a pleasant surprise for all of us. As we'll probably not spend much time deciding which episodes we want to give the visual to, it'll be something that just happens. Now, while we use humor to cope with the madness of our everyday lives and to combat our own dark thoughts, please keep in mind we in no way are setting out to disrespect the victims or their families. Please understand that offending is never our goal. We're three very animated, pessimistic, goofy, antisocial, yet social women who love storytelling. Now, in getting lost in these stories, don't misinterpret our excitement for a lack of empathy. I myself was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I relocated for a few years to Texas after college. College is actually where I met my two co-hosts, and I returned to the Midwest a few years later because there is no place like home in 4 seasons. So, women are far too often seen as the predator and not the prey, and not the predator when it comes to serial killings. So I'm sure you're probably questioning, why the hell are y'all talking about serial killers? And to that I say, why not? I've always been more interested in the how they kill opposed to the why they kill. I love the gore of it all. And that could stem from my earliest childhood memories being sitting on the couch watching those animal-on-animal attack shows with my father for very, very long periods of time. So I guess I just kind of got used to the gore of it all. Now, of course, I could not do this alone, and I brought along 2 of my favorite human beings to enjoy this crazy ride with me. Now, why don't you ladies introduce yourselves, tell us a little something about you, where your obsession came from, if you would call it that, why you agreed to be a part of the show, if you're interested in the why they kill, or the how, or both. And of course, you don't have to answer those questions in that order. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Who is that?
That's Rachel.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. I'm Rachel Cherie. I'm formerly known as Rachel Thompson. Anyway, I am a florist. I'm an artist. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I would say that I'm more obsessed with the why these serial killers kill. That's what I look for when I'm watching Forensic Files, Snapped, anything like that. I want to know why they did it, and I also want them caught. That's nice. Me. I do want them caught. Okay. I want to see their interviews in jail in the white or orange prison suit.
Ooh. And why did you agree to be a part of this show?
Because I'm a crazy, and it's going to be unknown for Rachel. People know me to be this happy, sometimes happy, floral, excited, outgoing person. I don't think they look for Rachel liking serial killers and the reasons why they kill. I think that's something that people are going to be like, oh my gosh, why?
What Rachel done got herself into.
I ain't killed nobody.
That you know, go tell us about. Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you, Rachel. Next up, who do we have?
Hey, it's Christina. My name is Christina Mata. I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Born and raised here, lived here my whole life. Haven't done much moving around, but here I am, and I am very happy to be here because otherwise I would not have met these lovely ladies that we are here with today. I met Rachel in high school. Didn't talk a whole lot, but she was always super cool. I always knew her as a very funny, very open person with an amazing laugh. And finally met, there she goes.
She's been very mild today. It's gonna come out.
Yeah. Give it a few more shots there. And Natasha, I met in college, and I auditioned for a play, and that's when I kind of really got to know Natasha was in theater. And I just always knew. You know, when you meet someone and you're like, this is a person that I want to make sure I keep in my life, you're one of those people. So.
And fun fact, Christina and I traveled cross country after graduation on a Greyhound.
On a Greyhound. Worst experience ever. But
we'll fill you in on that, Rachel.
It was
I don't like
amazing.
buses.
Not across the country.
We went from Milwaukee to LA.
That's
in the winter.
It was like a 3-day trip.
Yeah. Sitting in our own filth. It was bad.
I'm sorry.
As soon as we got there, we hit up those showers.
But I refused to fly at that time. I was terrified of heights, and Christina was kind enough to agree to actually take the bus with me.
You even said you could just meet me there if you want, and I was like, nope, we'll go together. And I don't regret it though.
Me either.
We only had each other.
Yeah,
I don't know if we would have survived without each other.
God, it was bad, but it was fun. It was a good kind of bad, I guess.
Yeah,
I know part of the story. Now I remember. You told me part of the story. You told me part.
I came back smelling things on my body I never knew
it
existed.
was rough and tumble. Yeah.
You told me part.
It was rough.
Yeah.
All right, so perfect, ladies. Happy to be here with you two. Now, Christina, for our first episode, who are we talking about?
We will be talking about a lady born as Nancy Hazel, but who went by the name of Nannie Doss throughout her life. She's an American serial killer who committed 11 murders between the 1920s to 1954. So she had a long career there, bless her heart. She has also been referred to as the Jolly Black Widow, the Lonely Hearts Killer, Lady Bluebeard, and our favorite, which is the Giggling Granny.
Giggling Granny. Pew, 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 pew. Now, I saw somewhere that called her a gleeful serial killer, and for some reason that gave me joy. I was like, gleeful? What a beauty. I would get that tattooed on me.
She found her passion and she went with it.
I love a woman who goes after what she likes. You know?
She had two passions then.
No, she had two. Oh,
Yeah.
You gonna tell us that one now, or you gonna wait for it?
I can tell you now. She wanted the real romance. She wanted real love. And she felt like if she didn't find it, hell.
You just gotta start over.
Off with your head.
That's right. So throughout this podcast, y'all, we will randomly play pre-recorded giggles. We did in secret, and we'll have to guess who the giggle came from. We have not...
I think we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out pretty easily. This will be funny. We have not heard each other's giggles, so this will be really interesting. Nah! Who was that?
It was you, Tasha. It was you, Tasha.
Definitely Tasha.
It was definitely me.
She just had to be first.
I was not expecting that.
Okay, so Nancy or Nannie Doss was actually born Nancy Hazel, November 4th, 1905. She was born in Alabama, Blue Mountain, now it's Anniston, Alabama. She was born on a farm with poor parents. Her parents' name was James F. Hazel and Louisa L.O.L. or A.K.A. I think that's what they called her, Lou.
Big Lou.
Big Lou. Big Lou Holder. Her father was super controlling, and he was actually super mean, and he wanted to take control of his wife and kids' lives. Nannie had 3 sisters, 1 brother, and so her father wanted to keep them safe at the farm. They couldn't go to school. And when they did go to school, they performed horribly because, well, you know, they weren't hardly there. They were working on the damn farm. So
Now, quick question. I couldn't find anything about her brother, just the sisters. Does anybody know if the brother died?
I don't know about the brother. I was trying to find all kinds of stuff about the entire family, and I just feel like they focus more on
Her?
the gore and her. They say a little bit about her early life, and then they just go straight to who she killed. So.
Right.
It's like she grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
And then
this happened.
right.
Husband
But
one.
what I want to tell you is at the age of 7, she suffered a head injury. In on a plane. I mean, on a train, rather. She was on the train. The train had to stop suddenly, and she hit her head on a metal bar on the seat in front of her. So she suffered from blackouts, depression, and she's not necessarily that wise, that's smart. She don't really have it all because she suffered this head injury. Now, we don't know that for sure. She was never like tested for anything, but she blames the accident for her mental instability.
Interesting.
She do. So, what I also want to tell you is I couldn't find fact on fact, but I did see that her and her sisters was molested. I did not see from who. And her father, from what I read from her father, did not believe her being molested only because of what he didn't want them to do in the first place. No stockings, no silk stockings, no dresses, no dances, no social events. So he kept them from doing all that just to be safe and keep them from molestation. However, they were molested. But I couldn't find any hard facts on who molested Nannie and when or why, but it did say that her and her sisters were molested.
Wow. See, now I didn't see that, but I did see that she used to sneak away to party with boys in barns. So that's possible then that's when they actually.
She did sneak away because she did like those romantic novels and those romantic magazines.
she wanted to live them out.
She did want to live those out. That's what she wanted. She actually wanted real love, real romance, whatever that was in her head. That's what she wanted, and that's what she was seeking. And I'm not sure if her dad know everything that she did, but the molestation she did tell her father about, and he was pretty much like, no, the hell it didn't happen.
Now, because this was so long ago, I wonder if he kind of equated that to them being seen as unclean and no man would want them. So he probably was just like, I don't even want to hear it. I'm going to pretend it did not happen.
Right, because he did want to find all of their husbands for them. That's the time that they lived in. He wanted to find their husbands for them. So when Nannie was 16, she worked at a linen factory, and she worked with this boy named Charlie Braggs, and that's who her father had her marry.
At 16.
At 16. So she didn't really necessarily have an adolescent life.
Right.
She was a slave. Okay, from birth. And then at 16, she finally got her a little job at the linen factory. And then her daddy's like, oh, go marry Charlie.
Even though you known him for 4 months.
Even though you only known this man for 4 months. She didn't even know him or his mama. She didn't like his mama, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But, she didn't even like her.
His mama was crazy.
She just went from one bad situation to another.
And she continued. And she continued only because what? She wanted that romance.
I feel like she was just trying to escape. And
get
then
off
she
that
just
farm.
kept escaping into more and more bad situations. It's like, what do you do?
According to her, it was actually like quotes around her. She wanted real romance.
Did y'all see? I seen a quote too that she said in regards to that first husband, and it was, you want to read it? You got it?
I was married as my father wished in 1921 to a boy I only knowed about 4 or 5 months, who had no family, only a mother who was unwed, and who had taken over my life completely when we were married. She never seen anything wrong with what she done, but she would take spells. She would not let my own mother stay at night.
So she left one alcoholic family and married into another one.
It was almost like she was blind to what was actually there. Like, she didn't want to see what was there. She wanted that real romance. She didn't want to see what was actually there.
So, I mean, we touched on how she married Charlie Briggs. That was her first husband, and they were married from 1923 to 1927, and they had 4 daughters. And I did read an interesting article, too, that talked about how both of them were both cheating on each other.
Yes.
Extramarital affairs.
It was more on Charlie's ass, though.
Oh, it's Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie was just
Ew.
like, forget Nannie.
No, he did.
Forget Nannie.
Forget Nannie.
Oh, got a good time to get another giggle in there. Rachel?
Who's that?
It was
Rachel?
me.
Yeah. Okay, I thought
Rachel.
so.
Okay.
Sinister.
You know, I thought I surprised you a little bit.
That was good. That was good.
So now we'll go in talking about some of the crimes that Nannie actually committed.
Okay. So it first starts in about 1927. Her and Charlie had 4 children together. Apparently, the 2 middle daughters from that marriage died of suspected food poisoning. Suspected food poisoning. It is said that they had breakfast, just like any normal day, and they were dead by lunch. Which,
That's fast.
yeah, that's quick. Dead by lunch. Of course, at the time, no one expected Nannie to do such a thing to her own children, so it was just ruled as a suspected food poisoning, and they moved on. Of course, this is when Charlie started to get scared of Nannie, and he took off with their oldest, Melvina, and their youngest, which was named, I believe, Florine. They called her Florine. I think her name was Florence.
Florine.
Yeah. So he took off with them, and she was just kind of left all alone. Left with her own devices.
Yeah.
Luckily, she had many of them. Finally, about almost 20 years later, the next victim was Melvina's children. So Melvina grew up. She had 2 children at this time. 1945, she gave birth to her second child, which was a daughter, in the hospital. Melvina fell asleep after having given birth and saw Nannie Doss holding the baby, didn't think anything of it. Her and her husband fell asleep in the hospital. Melvina was in a haze of drugs, I'm sure, after giving birth. And when Melvina woke up, she was told that her daughter had died in her first hours of life. Melvina thought that she saw Nannie Doss sticking the baby in the head with a stick pin. And it said that the baby died soon after.
Yeah.
Doctors didn't really have a reason for her death.
This is one of those facts, too, because throughout this case, we all kind of found conflicting information. So y'all found that it said she died within kind of like hours. I had seen something that said the baby died 6 months later.
6 months later. I read both. I don't know what the truth is. I really don't.
I think 6 months later, after the baby died, was when her other grandkid died.
Yes,
died.
Because I read it was the baby, the actual newborn. Okay, so maybe that's where that was. Somebody, one of the articles I must have read probably like worded it weird, and I interpreted it as the smaller child died. Now I will say too, when he left her first husband, Charlie ass, when he left his own mom there with her. His mom died in her sleep.
Yes, she did.
That they said. Yeah. And so Charlie came back like almost a year later with a woman who already had a child, and he had got her pregnant.
With a new boo.
A new boo.
Yeah, he actually had left the baby, the newborn baby, with Nannie.
Yeah.
He came back with another woman.
He left her there, and he only left with the oldest child. And came back and was just like, yeah.
He was like, I don't feel like changing
I'm
diapers.
good.
You can keep that one.
Exactly.
I'll take the one that's potty trained.
He was like, I'm good. I got Shirley. You know, I'm good. I don't need you.
And he even talked about, like, I thought it was interesting. He talked about how terrified he was to eat anything that she prepared. And, like, whenever she would have these crazy mood swings, he would kind of shut down.
Nothing.
Yeah, he wouldn't eat anything.
I mean, but I wouldn't eat nothing either, considering the fact that the two middle kids just all of a sudden die within hours of breakfast. Because, you know, breakfast is not far from lunch. Okay, anyway. So they died fast as hell.
I was fast as hell.
I would have been scared, too.
Hell yeah.
Like, okay, I didn't even eat the breakfast they had. And they died.
And you know, back then, men were like toddlers. So it's not like he could prepare his own meal.
Right, he probably had no idea how to boil water.
Right.
He was like, what's water?
All right. So moving on. What was the next crime that she committed? Or is that a good giggle break?
Sure, let's have a giggle break. We got like 13 of them or something.
I would say that's Christina.
Christina.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's you.
That's definitely Christina ass.
Dramatic as hell.
Today?
Christina.
All right, so his next murder, which one was that, Mata?
The next one was just a few months after her first grandchild had died. A few months later, Melvina and her husband had drifted apart. They weren't able to get through the loss of their child. And Melvina started dating a soldier, which Nannie did not approve of. She did not like that.
Didn't like his ass.
Nope, she did not like his ass at all.
She didn't like nobody.
And yeah, she didn't like anybody.
She didn't like nobody.
Really, what did she want? So basically, after Melvina thought she saw her mom kill her first grandchild, she decides, you know what, I gotta go do something. Let me have my mom take care of my other kid. So she leaves her first child, his name is Robert. She leaves Robert in the care of Nannie Doss. And basically, while in Nannie's care, the child died of asphyxia. We don't know what exactly happened, or I don't know in my research what exactly happened to cause him to die of asphyxia. But basically, he was strangled.
Yep.
A few months after the death of Robert, Nannie Doss then collected $500 from a life insurance policy that she had taken out on her grandson.
Okay. What grandmother take out life insurance policies on their
And
on
what
their
insurance
grandkids?
company is allowing
Is
that?
going to allow you to do
Oh
that?
yeah, on your
Exactly.
grandson, sure, absolutely.
So at this
Let's
point,
get you
she's
500
killed
bones.
2 grandchildren from her oldest daughter, Melvina. And I did read somewhere, too, that Melvina left out of the house because she and Nannie were arguing. I seen that in like a little documentary. I was like, wow. And it made me wonder if part of Nannie was jealous of Melvina and her father's relationship.
yeah.
Because they were close still after all those years. Because, of course, that's the only child he ran away with.
Right.
So I think it was intentional that she targeted Melvina's kids. Just a theory.
Right, because she did leave with her father in the beginning, and she probably felt some kind of way towards both of them. I mean, it's her husband leaving and her oldest child. That's the first love. So
You want a close relationship? Let me kill that. Really
right. You
quick.
might have
Exactly.
some disposition in your heart against this oldest kid. Like, oh, you gonna leave
You gonna
with
steal
your
my
daddy?
man?
You gonna that's what you gonna do? Okay,
Right.
I got something for you.
Now, did anybody, same thing with kind of Nannie Doss's brother, did anybody find information on the youngest daughter?
Nannie's youngest.
Yeah,
youngest
because
child?
they only talk about
Florine?
Yeah, did anybody find anything
Little
information
Flo?
on her?
I did
Little
not.
Flo. Little period. Nobody found
Little
anything
baby
on her?
Flo.
No.
Little baby period.
No.
We don't know what happened to
baby.
Flo.
I don't
Nannie
know what
probably
happened to
offed her too. Nobody know.
See, that's one of my little secrets. I
Yeah,
wanted
how
to
did
tell
that?
y'all.
How did that
Ooh.
kid grow up? Oh,
So look,
really?
that's one of my secrets I wanted to tell y'all. That's one of them, though. It's actually
One
two.
of them. You got two.
I do.
You
I
got
was
stuff up
lying.
your sleeve, and you're not even wearing sleeves. Dang.
Nannie possibly could have killed that whole family. Yeah,
Nice.
she could have possibly killed the whole family. It's known that she's killed 8 people, but she could have
11.
killed 11.
Right.
Okay, so she one of them.
Not Melvina.
I mean, but she
Not little
evil
Flo.
as hell. She killed the 2 middle kids.
Yeah, it's not like she really gives a
And
shit
she
about
killed them
kids.
with no
And
problem. She
killed her
killed them at breakfast. She
grandchildren.
killed them when they woke up, honey.
They were
She
like,
gave
you
them
had a
last
good slumber. Great, have some breakfast.
Have some breakfast.
Right.
And slumber again.
Slumber forever.
Yes, she don't care. She's a very evil person.
Ah.
Have another giggle break here. Whoa, was that me?
It
That sounds like you.
Whoa, that one came from the sternum.
From
that was,
the diaphragm.
that was a
La, la,
deep
la,
one.
la,
You
la,
reached
la,
deep.
la, la.
I like that one.
That was good.
All right, next murder.
Next murder. So, finally, she finds a second husband. Husband number 2 is Frank Harrelson of Jacksonville, Alabama. And they married in 1929 when Frank was 23. They met through a Lonely Hearts ad. Of course, again, Nannie Doss wanting to find that ideal romance. Yep, that exciting love. She went through that Lonely Hearts ad. They exchanged letters, poems.
All that good shit.
The only thing I was able to find about Frank was that he was a factory worker.
Okay.
Didn't really find much else about him. Nannie Doss did not know at the time of the marriage, but soon after learned that he was an abusive alcoholic. Frank returned home one evening, drunk as hell, after celebrating the end of World War II with a bunch of his friends. And apparently that night, when he returned home, he actually raped Nannie Doss.
What? I kind of read it, but I was trying to be a little surprised
Yep.
at some of the
Yep.
facts, so I didn't read a lot into the actual facts of the murders. He raped her.
He raped her.
Drunk as hell, celebrating the end of World War II, came home and raped his wife. Yep. And that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely.
She already evil, so right.
Right. You don't.
And they had been married at this point for like 16 years.
16
She'd been
years.
They
Yeah.
had
taking
a
his abuse.
long marriage. And that I can fully understand being the straw.
Okay, so was
that broke
Frank an
the back.
alcoholic?
Yes.
Yes.
Or was Frank just drunk this night? She was just like, let's just off his ass.
Nah, he was.
He was.
So he was an alcoholic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank. So you
And on
wanna
that
do
particular evening, he got especially fresh. And Nannie had had enough.
Okay, Nannie.
So soon after, Nannie Doss was doing some yard work. And while she was doing that yard work, she found a jar of liquor. I'm not sure if it was whiskey. I had read that it's whiskey. I had read that it was moonshine. Me too. She found something. It was a jar of liquor that Frank had buried in the yard. Apparently, he had jars of liquor buried throughout the house,
what
throughout the
alcoholics do,
home,
yep.
That's what everyone does.
hidden in random places. I just keep my stuff out in the open.
Yeah.
Because I don't care who knows what I drink. But basically, she found the jar and she decided to go ahead and put some rat poison in there. She puts the jar back, and finally, when Frank goes to inevitably drink his liquor, kind of like a squirrel that hides its nuts,
Yeah.
you know exactly where you put your shit. So he went
Exactly.
right back for it. He drank it, and he died. Eventually, they married in 1929, and his death was in 1945. So she put up with a lot of his shit.
I did read also that Nannie was an alcoholic herself and a heavy smoker. So it's possible he was hiding his hooch from her. Like that damn Nannie gonna drink all my hooch. So he could have been hiding.
I never
some
thought
booze
of it
from
that
her.
way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I read
Get
like
my
she
own
drinks
stash.
a lot. Because I would definitely hide my whiskey from my boyfriend. I don't want you to come home drinking all my shit.
Yeah, I would hide it too.
That's a good idea.
Listen, Bob.
I'm gonna hide
I
my
would
stuff
hide it
from
too.
you.
All right, what's the next marriage?
Next marriage, not long after, so Frank died in 1945. She remarried in 1947.
My girl.
Husband number 3, Arlie Lanning of Lexington, North Carolina. They met through Lonely Hearts again.
No way.
Our lovely Lonely Hearts killer.
That's her shit.
After After marriage, I think Nannie kind of went for a different alter ego here. She started to become part of the local church and became loved by the town. Everyone loved her. She was a church-loving lady, and she could do no wrong.
The biggest dab turkeys on earth.
Everyone in the community knew that Arlie had frequented the town prostitutes, but apparently no one had the heart to tell Nannie what was going on. Okay.
I read it was called the
I'm
Red
pretty
Light District.
Red Light District. Okay.
Oh, I did too.
Nice. Apparently, yeah, no one had the heart to tell her. I would assume that Nannie Doss would have known, though. I'm sure she had her suspicions. And in 1950, Arlie became sick for several days, experiencing vomiting, nausea, all that jazz. He died soon after, so in 1950 was when he died. So they were married for 3 years before he died. It was presumed that he had died of heart failure, and since he was a drinker, everyone knew he was a drinker, and there was a flu going around at the time, so doctors just kind of assumed he succumbed.
Right.
His body just gave out. He was drinking. There was a flu.
Those prostitutes, yeah.
Right. All that fast living. Nannie Doss had stated herself that he seemed fine until she had made him a breakfast of prunes and coffee. She loves prunes.
They're good for you.
They are, but dang, she likes to use them a lot. After his death, Nannie Doss found out that Arlie actually willed their home to his sister. So, in true Nannie fashion, she decided to burn down the house.
I know that's right.
Or, apparently, that's what happened. The house burned down, but we know Nannie burned down the dang house.
To cover her tracks. That's why she burned it
But she had to take one thing with her. Y'all know what that was? TV.
Her TV. Her TV. She had it mended at some damn shop.
Yes.
and
I
shit.
read that.
I
but
thought that
didn't
was
write it
so
down.
funny.
Dude
'Cause
saved the TV. She's like, let me go get this fixed.
now pause.
Need to watch my
If
shows.
your house is burning, knock on wood, what's the one thing that you would save from your house right away?
It's an urn in my house I would save right away.
Nice. Okay. What would you say?
I would save Digit, my cat.
Aw,
Yeah,
Digit.
Digit's my baby.
I don't know. I feel like I have this weird attachment with everything in my house that I would probably burn with the things trying to save everything. I don't think there's one thing that I would grab and be like, I gotta grab this, because I don't know. I feel like I have a connection with everything, like from stuffed animals to like diploma. Like there's so many things that I don't need, but I would be like, I can't
Yeah.
imagine my life without these things.
That's true.
So I understood the session to grab her television.
True that.
But it just looks
I do
so
like my TV.
suspicious. You went and got the TV mended, fixed, or whatever, like a week before the house just so happened to burn down to the damn ground.
Gotta make sure it's in tip-top condition.
Okay, and then cashed out on the insurance money. Like, yeah, I know you gave it to your sister, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this
Right.
money.
She did. She cashed. Okay, so she cashed out on the grandson.
Yep.
She cashed out on this person.
Yep. She
Okay,
cashed
so
out
she
on the
just-
home.
She
Yep.
cashed out on. She wants that money. So I'm convinced that Nannie don't just want romance.
Oh yeah.
She want the loot too.
Or maybe she's like, as long as these fools are failing me, I might as well get something out of it.
Exactly.
Make sure to get that insurance policy. And if they fail me, well, I got that backup plan.
I got that backup.
Yep.
Now, what happened after her house burned down?
After the house burned down, she went to live with Arlie's mother, who passed away shortly after her arrival.
Yeah, see, now it was two mothers. It was this
so
mother-in-law
wrong for laughing.
and then the mother-in-law before from her first marriage from was it Robert Ass? So I think it was actually Arlie's mom who passed in her sleep. I think she killed Robert's mom because there was two mother-in-laws involved in this, and I know she admitted to killing one of them.
Frank was husband number 2. Would it have been Frank's mom?
That was the first husband.
Oh, Charlie?
Yeah. Who the hell is Robert?
Okay.
I gotta stop drinking.
Robert was
Robert's
the
her
third
kid. Or her grandkid.
Robert was the grandkid.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you do a podcast and you're not sober. So, yeah, the first husband, his mom. So, remember, he left. He took the kids. That mom passed, too. Yeah, so it's like it was either she killed this one or Arlie's. But she admitted to killing one of the mother-in-laws.
Yikes.
Well, one of them died two
In
of
the
them
sleep.
died in their sleep.
Yeah, so she killed one of them. I would give her the
As
benefit of
far
doubt
as
to
I'm
one of them.
concerned, she killed the both of them.
Oh, okay.
Might as well.
I mean, who the fuck dies?
all these people just
Like, there was
happened to
nothing
die
wrong with
while
her,
she
and
was
then she just all of a sudden died when she moved the fuck in.
around.
She
Yeah.
died. She killed him.
Yeah,
She killed him.
she probably did.
Well, it was 1905. She was born, and this is 2020. We can just go ahead and say she killed him.
She's probably not rolling around in her grave at this point.
I don't
She's
care if
just
she
like,
rolling.
I'm
She
sure
can keep
I
on
did.
rolling. She can roll until she turned into a damn cocoon.
Oh,
she killed him.
Oh, Nanny come after her in her dreams, not us. We love you, Nanny.
Love you,
That
Nanny.
giggling granny. She wrong as hell.
Don't put any rat poison in my beer.
Okay.
I like my beer.
I'm just
So
getting
after
used
the
to
mom,
this shit.
after she moved in with mom, she ended up moving in with her sister, right?
Yes, she moved back to Alabama to care for her sister, Dovey. Apparently, Dovey had cancer. That's what I had read.
Yep.
So she dies soon after arriving at Dovey's to take
Let's
care
just
of
guess
her.
it was the cancer.
Let's guess it was the cancer.
Sure, I'm sure.
Cancer named Nanny.
Yeah,
The
with
cancer,
it.
thank you. Cancer named Nanny. She's just ridiculous.
She's just a big cancer.
She
just a
is
big tumor.
cancer.
Nanny.
Now, I did read next. They said she started to lose her looks at 47. I hated the way, I hate the way these articles fucking talk about and describe women. It's like, so at
Right.
47, she started to lose her looks and she decided to marry an old man. Like, who the fuck?
Okay, and so when did she marry this old dude?
In 1952 at 47.
Okay, so wait, now before that, here go the other secret. There's 2 years of Nanny's life articles do not cover. And according to the Ultimate Killer collection by Stuart Andell, she was dating or married to, I'm not sure, this man named Hendrix.
Yeah. I seen Hendrix.
And they don't know where Hendrix at.
Nobody knows he survived. Yep.
But they don't know where Hendrix at. And so they was like, so the article, I mean, the book's pretty much like, well we know she was dating Hendrix or with this Hendrix person, but we don't know where he at. So we don't know if he survived Nanny or not.
Oh.
That's Christina.
It's Christina.
I read that. Yes.
So I was listening to something and I heard it and I was just like, excuse me? Hendrix?
That's why they said she killed 11, possibly 12.
That's why.
Because they're like, we don't know where the hell Hendrix at.
They don't know where he is, and they don't know if he's so they don't know where he is, and they don't know if he survived Nanny, because she kills everybody she comes into contact with, except for their first husband that just left her ass because he was scared to eat her eggs.
That porridge was too deadly.
It was too damn deadly. Goldilocks. Okay, so we out.
So,
Me and Melvina.
In 1952, Christina, tell us about that marriage with Richard.
1952, she marries husband number 4, Richard Morton of Emporia, Kansas. They met through the Diamond Circle Club, so she decided to get outside of the Lonely Hearts Club. She was like, let's shoot for the stars here. Let's go for the Diamond Circle Club. Only thing I know about Richard was that he was a retired salesman who was well-to-do, but was also a womanizer, so he did cheat on Nannie Doss. That marriage did not last very long at all. They were married in 1952, and Richard was dead by 1953.
That's right. She killed him quick.
During the time that they were married,
Don't cheat on Nanny.
right.
Don't do nothing to Nanny.
Right,
Don't
just-
even meet this bitch.
Right. Stay clear out of her way. Nannie Doss's mother, Lou, decided to come to live with the newlyweds in 1953 and died within days of her arrival after having intestinal pains. So one can only assume that she laced their prunes or coffee or something with arsenic or rat poison, what have you. I read that Lou died first. So Lou came to live with the couple. She died within days of her arrival, and then Richard died shortly after.
Yeah, and I read that the mom, she came to Big Lou, she came to live with them after the dad had died. That's when she went to live with them.
Okay.
And so, like, everywhere that I read, in all accounts, it seems like the mom was as loving as you can be with being with the man who's abusing your children. So I wonder if Nannie kind of resented her, because she's like, you were so nice to us when he wasn't here, but why didn't you save us from him?
Right.
So it's kind of easy for her to be like, you know what, Dad's gone. You're over here grieving over this abusive man. I'm just going to off you too, Mama.
Right.
You enable an abuser to abuse you, you might as well be the abuser.
Absolutely.
Right.
So she was just as guilty as him, absolutely.
And then the next husband was that, who was that? Next husband.
Samuel Doss, which is where we get the name Nannie Doss. Sammy. Oh, Sammy. Samuel Doss of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Nannie decided to go back to her roots. They met through Lonely Hearts.
Okay.
And they married in June of 1953. Samuel Doss was a conservative who was known not to waste time or money. Nannie Doss later stated that Samuel Doss was peculiar. That's her word. She called him peculiar. And forbade Nannie from reading magazines or watching TV that was not enlightening or educational. If it wasn't educational, she couldn't read it. She couldn't read her magazines. So that's basically stripping Nannie's identity away from her, right? Nannie Doss also stated that she wasn't allowed to visit neighbors or use an electric fan, which, why wouldn't I want to use a fan?
Right, it's hot.
It's hot. Let me use a fan. Ridiculous. So, Nannie actually left Samuel and went back to Alabama. But Sammy's dumbass begged her to come back. He even vowed to be less tight with money and took out 2 life insurance policies with Nannie as the beneficiary for her to come back.
Yep.
Did you not expect what was to come next?
Now, do you think that he actually did that, or she made him do it?
So I heard. I'm talking like I know these people. My neighbor Shirley told me. I read that was one of the reasons, like one of her stipulations, like if you want me to come back, you need to make me the beneficiary.
Exactly.
Of
Imagine
your,
being
that sounds like something she would do, considering what she has already done.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, I'm not convinced that he was like, okay, I'll take out 2 life insurance
Let me do
policies.
all these things for
I
you to
don't
come
believe
back.
that. I believe she was like, no,
Yeah.
fucker. You
I'm
can
sure.
just take out another one so I could kill your ass.
She had conditions. He was like, I have a life insurance policy in your name. She was like, you better take out a second one.
exactly.
I'm not coming back unless there's 2.
One of the things I did read too that I thought was interesting, that sex was scheduled.
Ew.
Now you're taking a woman who literally her entire life she's been kind of obsessed with male attention, and she loves like living in this romantic world, and you're scheduling something as intimate as sex, and you're frugal, cheap, and you're banning her love story. She can't visit neighbors, she can't have friends. So Nannie was literally, it was only a matter of time before she killed this guy, because her other husbands, like, they were abusive, and then in her mind she'd finally found the perfect mate. He wasn't abusive. He wasn't a womanizer.
That romance.
He wasn't an alcoholic. But then all these other things happened. Okay. So what happened after he came back? After she came back home?
Stupid Sammy. Later, the following year in 1954, Samuel started experiencing stomach pains after eating a prune cake. and ended up going to the hospital that September. So it was suspected that he had an intestinal infection. He went to the hospital. He was there for several weeks. He was released just the following month on October 5th. Upon his homecoming, Nannie did not waste any time.
At all.
She made him a meal laced with arsenic. She put arsenic in the coffee as the appetizer to the meal. So Samuel Doss fell ill and was dead just hours later. So within just a day or maybe a couple days of coming home, he was dead.
After being hospitalized for almost a month.
It's because she was like, look, I said die. So he died.
She's chasing her dreams. She's making it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sammy fell ill and was dead just hours later. Of course, this made the doctor who treated Samuel in the hospital incredibly suspicious. The doctor in the hospital decided to order an autopsy.
She should have waited. That was dumb as hell. She should have waited. He was
was
in
so
the hospital
anxious.
all that time.
Maybe
What
she
makes you
got-
think they're not watching him?
Maybe she got cocky. That would have been murder
And that's
number
why her
11.
cocky
At that
ass-
point, she'd
Yeah.
committed 10 without getting caught.
Right.
Possibly 11. We don't know what happened with Hendrix.
Right.
ass.
She killed Hendrix.
This was
Hendrix,
murder
if you
number
listen and hit us up. We want to know what happened.
She killed Hendrix. Hey, y'all, if y'all know what happened with Hendrix, y'all should tell us.
Hendrix
in the
Ghost, you out there?
sections.
Right. Hit us up, Hendrix. We want to know what happened to you. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a good giggle break. Let's hear some more.
Giggle break?
We can play all of them. Oh.
Oh, that was a little one.
I don't know if that was me or Rachel.
Do it
Do it
again.
again. Do it again. Do it again. What the hell was that? Huh.
Is that it?
Oh my God.
I have no
I'm actually
idea.
a
This
little
is not
lost,
that
and
easy.
I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's me. I'm sorry.
don't
know.
either.
I don't remember the damn giggles.
Me either. We were also
We did it
inebriated
last
that day.
week, and we were a little intoxicated.
I don't remember. That
made
was
it
a good
fun.
one.
That was a good one.
was
I don't
good.
know who the hell that was though. Okay. Anywho, so after she ended up allegedly killing her husband what husband was that number? Was that number 5?
That was 5.
baby.
Yeah. So the
Whole hand.
Yep. She actually allowed the autopsy to be done, and
So I had read that the doctor persuaded her to
Yep.
do an autopsy, telling her that you might save many lives out there.
Uh-huh.
We do this
Sure.
autopsy, we find the cause of death, we could
Sure
save so
did.
many lives.
Save the
and
many lives that
Nannie,
she killed.
she's
Yes.
like, you know what? That sounds good. I'll be a hero. Go ahead and perform that autopsy. That was a big mistake because the autopsy came back and they found enough arsenic in this man's system to kill a horse.
Yes, way too much.
Way
She put a lot
too
of arsenic in that man's coffee. Okay, so how you didn't taste that shit? Is it tasteless? It's tasteless?
Do you only have to have like one sip and you're done for? Maybe that's why she put a ton in there so that you take one sip and you're good.
That's true.
I mean, he died.
We'll have to do some research on
Yeah,
this.
how
Right,
long does it
so-
take to kill someone when feeding them
Right.
arsenic?
Okay, well, we not gonna find out, ladies, why y'all looking like y'all want to know.
We got real excited.
Maybe later.
Okay,
some research
I'm
on
the
that.
innocent one here.
Sure.
We're definitely not, so we're gonna figure
We're
that out
not gonna
later.
find out, everyone. We're not gonna. Y'all better not do that shit.
Natasha and I are like, let's do some research
Yeah.
on arsenic. I'm
If
ready.
anyone knows,
and
you
rat
can,
poison.
in the comment section, let us know how long it takes and how much arsenic you need. We're gonna do some research on this.
And
We'll
what
have
does the
answers
death
for you.
look like? Is it
But the
bloody?
autopsy said it was
Do they puke?
enough. It was too much. Like it was a lot
Way
of
too much.
arsenic
It was
in his
definitely
system.
overkill. And so, of course,
Maybe he finished that cup of coffee.
he
you know,
probably did because
coffee
he
is
died
amazing.
really fast. And it already kind of has that bitter taste. So maybe that's what was kind of masking the taste.
He was like, honey, that's some strong coffee you made today.
Yeah,
And
that's
she's like,
this is a good coffee day.
So, of course, after the physician figured this out, he called the cops. And what I found interesting is while she was being interrogated, she confessed to killing her husbands in exchange for being able to keep her romance magazines. So she negotiated that. She's like, I'll admit to this, but you gotta let me keep my magazine.
So she really loved those goddamn magazines,
Love
man.
them. Even when
That much.
possibly facing death, she's like, I need to just live in my fantasy world. So yeah, you can do whatever you want with me, but just let me go out with my magazine.
I heard she was also
True that.
reading like romance novels and shit too.
I read that
So
too.
she was just okay. Let's just give Nannie the benefit of the damn doubt. She really wanted real love. Okay, but Nannie, you can't be killing people to get real love.
Yeah.
Nannie.
Oh, and Nannie. So she got her name Giggling Granny because while confessing to the killings of her husbands, her mother-in-law, her mother, her sister, her grandson, she giggled.
She laughed.
Constantly. Rachel?
I thought that was you.
No.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh,
do it again.
jeez Louise.
I thought that was you. That's Rachel. This show makes no sense. We're just going.
I remember
I don't know
that
what's
one.
happening. Okay, so once they exhumed several bodies, it was confirmed that they died of either arsenic or rat poison. Now, even though she confessed to killing 4 of her husbands, her mother, her sister, her grandson, her mother-in-law, at this point we're up to 11, possibly 12 people, they centered their case on Samuel Doss.
Yes, because that's the one that she got
Caught for.
Yep.
Yeah.
For, yes.
So they decided to actually, the state of Oklahoma found her guilty of murder on the killing of Samuel Doss. Now, the state justice departments of North Carolina, Kansas, and Alabama, they also charged her with murder, but she was never tried outside of Oklahoma, which means that, again, like we said, she was ultimately only charged with the murder of her last husband, Samuel Doss. So she kind of got off with the other murders. Mm-hmm. So, at 48 years old, on May 17th, 1955, the Giggling Granny could have been the first woman electrocuted in Oklahoma history. But due to a judge believing she was mentally unstable and not wanting to kill a woman, she received life in prison. The judge actually claimed he didn't want to set a poor precedent by executing a woman with mental disabilities.
Okay.
So her vagina got her off of death row.
A
essentially.
woman
Helped her
with
somehow.
mental disabilities. Okay, well, she had blamed her issues, her 7-year-old head injury on her mental instability. Remember,
Yep.
she
Yep.
was not the brightest in school when
Yep.
she did go. She also had blackouts, depression.
Yeah.
And she had major headaches.
Yep.
So, considering the fact that she hit her head at a very young age, I'm just saying,
Head
she
trauma
probably
tends
could
to
have.
be a big.
I mean, you know, the frontal lobe is
thing,
where your problem solving and emotional state comes from. So of course she didn't give a fuck, you know. If she actually killed these people, you know, of course she gonna be like, yeah, I killed them. You know,
Right.
She
Give me
don't
my
care.
magazine.
She don't care.
That's true. That's Christina. Oh, we're still going.
I don't know when to shut up, apparently.
He sounded like Goofy. That was a good giggle.
It was really
That was a
Kinda
good
like
giggle.
Bart Simpson.
But yeah, so
I
she,
like that.
of course, she's not going to care if her head injury came from her frontal lobe,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, we don't have to get very scientific, but that's where your problem solving and emotional comes from. So
We should get like a model of the brain and like what each part does.
Along with finding
And
out
we
how
can
much
look at it.
arsenic can kill a grown man of
Yeah.
about 32. Not
We
that I'm
should
planning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anatomy. We should get
I'm
some
gonna make
anatomy
sure I'm out
classes
the
in here.
country.
Me too.
What?
So
God damn it, you can't follow me.
So once she received her life sentence in 1955, she appeared to be happy with the decision. She even said, "I have no hard feelings." She always, like Rachel said,
She
blamed
won every
killing her
time.
husbands on that head injury that she did sustain as a child. Now, although she originally was pleased with her life sentence, after 2 years, she wished she had been put to death. So she actually got in the big house and was like, I'm okay. But then once she actually started doing the time, she was like, y'all can kill me. I'm over this shit by now. But she did remain cheerful throughout the entire thing, and she cracked jokes about her case to anybody who would listen while she was in jail.
Mm-hmm. That's how she got her
She
her
liked
name.
that attention too.
Yep.
Nanny. They said she loved to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Or
as a
retelling
child.
the stories,
So,
yeah.
but you telling a story about killing somebody and you gonna laugh about it? That means she is probably correct. She did not have any emotional attachment to anybody. I mean, you killed your grandson.
Damn.
You strangled that boy. You suffocated him. Like she strangled him.
And took a
She
clothespin
felt
or a
nothing
hat
for
pin.
nobody.
It took a
And a newborn's
clothespin
head.
or hat pin or whatever pin to
Yeah.
that dang on newborn's head. She didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Now, after killing her husband, she would always cash out on the life insurance policies that we talked about. But throughout the years, when she actually did interviews, she insisted that money was never the reason that she committed these murders. She said she was motivated by marital boredom. She wanted to find the perfect husband, like the ones in True Romance magazine.
Romance.
And an actual quote that I got from her was, "I was searching for the perfect mate. The real
romance
of life."
I'm telling y'all, she wanted.
Yeah, she was searching for that perfect love, that perfect man, and she just.
Do you
never
think
could
if she
find-
did find that perfect man that she wouldn't have killed him? That
No,
they
I
would have
feel
just
like
lived
Nannie's-
happily ever after.
I feel like she's
she
kind of
was
like
gonna-
me. She's
she
never
was gonna,
satisfied.
She was gonna sabotage.
Yep, never
She was gonna
satisfied.
sabotage. It didn't matter. Remember, I told
would have
you.
found
I felt like
anything
she was
was wrong
trying
with
to
them.
find a reason.
Yeah.
You know, or she would actually just pick the wrong man, knowing good and hell well. Oh, right, maybe he gonna change, or maybe he gonna do this, maybe he gonna do that. No, he's an alcoholic. He gonna be an alcoholic.
Yep. Now, doing an interview about her life in the McAllister, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, prison in Tulsa, she also claims to have only been able to work in the laundry room when she would much rather, catch this, work in the kitchen. Now, why the hell would Nannie think, after all the crimes and the way she commits these murders, anybody gonna let you cook in the kitchen? But this... Ooh. Was that me?
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Kind of sounded like you.
I don't know. I can't remember my laughs.
Kind of sounds like you.
I think that
I
was
know it
me.
wasn't me.
I don't know.
You wasn't nowhere near that damn modest.
I think
See?
that was me then.
You're true. I'm
I
a
think
mess.
that was me. That was me. So this makes me pose this question. Now, if you heard Nannie Doss, now you're an inmate of Nannie, right? You're out there in Tulsa, you chilling with Nannie. You're an
Okay.
inmate. You hear she makes the world's best gumbo. I'm talking the best gumbo. Gumbo make your toes curl.
Nanny's gumbo?
Nannie's gumbo. Would
Nannie's
you be
death
willing to
gumbo.
let her go in the kitchen?
No.
No, for the world. You're already an inmate for the rest of your life.
Okay, I'm an inmate. I'm gonna die, but damn, let me die by something natural. Nanny, you're not finna kill me with your little arsenic or your rat poisoning or whatever
Right.
you doing in that damn
I'm sure
kitchen.
she got that shit in prison somehow.
Yeah.
No, Nanny. Thank you, but no, thank you.
Damn, I'm embarrassed. I thought at least one other person. I'm greedy. I'd be like, yo, Nannie, give me a bowl. I'm willing to risk it. If I hear this is
If
the
I
best
had a
gumbo.
death wish, if I'm already in prison for the rest of my
right.
life, I would probably take that chance and be like, you know what? I'll have some good gumbo. If I die, I die. If not, I had some good
Because we
gumbo.
don't know if she gonna lace it. She might have turned her life around in
I'm
prison.
gonna be in jail for pouring paint on the motherfucker. No. No, I'm not gonna risk my life in jail over some Nanny gumbo.
Yeah.
When it's lace with rat poisoning and shit.
Okay, I
No,
guess, I
no.
guess.
I'll
I'ma
just
risk
go
it
ahead and
all
eat
for
that
Nanny.
hard ass cornbread and that motherfucking slop.
So Doss ended up dying 10 years after being sentenced of leukemia on June 2nd, 1965, and she was buried in Oak Hill Memorial Park in McAllister, Oklahoma.
Bye, Nanny.
Bye, Nannie. She died of leukemia.
So she gonna die of some type of cancer. While everybody else die at her hands.
Yeah.
You not right, Tasha.
That was me.
You ain't right.
That was me. That one was me.
You not right.
I remember that one. Because that one scared me when it came out.
But
I
hell,
was like, who the hell
they
is
probably
that?
didn't kill her in jail because they were scared of her. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, let's just fold these clothes.
Fold
Nannie.
the clothes and
Yeah.
don't cook anything. Thank you.
Right.
Have a nice day, Nanny.
Now, time to discuss some random theories and questions. Now, this one was kind of weighing heavy on me. Times were extremely hard in rural Alabama back then for families, and they kind of needed all hands on deck to survive. Do you feel her father was wrong for making the kids work on the farm instead of allowing them to go to school?
I feel like he was wrong because after all, they were poor. So why continue the cycle?
I agree. I think if you really want what's best for your kids, of course there's going to be some kind of compromise, like we need you to help, but I also want you to go to school to better yourself so that we can get out of this cycle. And he obviously did not want that for them. He just wanted to keep them dumb, working.
Right.
Furthermore, he was a controlling man.
And that was my issue with it. Like, if it was literally just for the betterment of the family, I could understand it. But he just wanted control of these girls.
Yeah, he was just a controlling man. He told them that, and I can't cite any sources because, you know, it was so long ago, but he told them that he wanted to find their husbands for them, and that's why he had made Nannie marry Charlie anyway, because Charlie was so close to his mother.
Yeah.
That's messed up too.
Yeah, he wanted her to have some sucker ass husband. I almost said something else.
We got a mixed audience.
He wanted to have some sucker ass husband that's just gonna, you know, take care of his mother. Like, what do you mean? Oh, marry this person that's going to just be all for their mother. You know, his mama never did move out the house.
Never.
Like, they stayed with his mother.
Yep.
Yeah, it was bad.
And she was
messed
horrible
up.
too. She was controlling too. He was
Absolutely.
a controlling ass father.
And alcoholic. Yeah, poor Nannie. So during her marriage to Arlie, she would disappear for long periods of times whenever he would act out, abuse her, cheat on her, all this other stuff. This is my theory. I think Nannie ass was living a double life. Yeah, I don't think we know how many people she's actually killed, because she could have been, since she was disappearing for months at a time, she could have been married to someone else, killed him, came back.
I mean, remember Hendrix now. I told you about Hendrix now.
Yeah, and deaths were not investigated the same way they are today.
At all.
Someone died back in that time. It was
Like,
just,
somebody know about Hendrix.
they suffered of an everlasting fate.
Yep.
Who knows?
Yeah,
what
one of the
actually
autopsies
happened.
said that they did not perform an autopsy because they knew that the man drank a lot and there was a deadly like flu going around at the time, so they didn't even give him a damn autopsy.
Right.
So y'all don't even want to be sure
just succumbed.
about why this person died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just gonna assume.
My other theory.
Absolutely.
Oh, you want to add to that?
No.
Oh, okay. My other theory was, so I know they do say that tortured souls are usually drawn together, but I think that a part of her was seeking out these abusive men to justify her urge to kill. 'Cause
Thank
it's
you.
like,
Maybe she was just
I
cleaning
agree.
up the population for everyone else.
Exactly.
Like, she knew the dude was an alcoholic. You knew he wasn't no good man, but you was like, oh, we lonely hearts. We lonely hearts.
Maybe that's why she's so happy. She's just doing the Lord's work.
Oh, shit. That was Christina who said that.
The Lord's work.
She cleaning up the population for the Lord.
She's getting them out of here.
That's a new cleanup woman right there.
Oh, I know that's right.
That's a different one right there.
My last one. So, do you believe her when she said, and we kind of touched this already, I know Rachel kind of answered a little bit. Do you believe her when she said she was not motivated by money? I mean, she did come from extreme poverty. Do you think the main thing was her lifelong quest to find true love? Or was it a little bit of the money?
She probably wanted to find a rich husband and true love. But she probably was going to find this true love and kill his ass anyway.
I think even if she found the perfect situation with a rich husband that worshipped her, that gave her everything she wanted, it might have lasted a long time. We know she put up with some of her husbands for, as long as 16 years? Maybe.
The worst of the bunch, kind of.
Yeah. Maybe it would have lasted a while, but ultimately she would have found something to just get rid of them.
I agree. Perfect. So, that is the story of Nannie Giggling Granny Doss. That was me.
It was totally you.
That was me. That was a weird one. That was me. So every week we will pose a cold-hearted question at the end. And this week, in honor of Giggling Granny, who spent her life hacking away at her own family tree, we are asking.
Hacking away.
Hacking away, one
good.
member at a time. We are asking, could you ever kill a family member, and why or why not? Who wants to go first, ladies?
The only way I would...
Uh-oh.
Get ready.
I watch too many movies. And I feel like the only way I would kill a family member is if they hurt another family member. Like hurt their life.
Yeah.
And Eve's Bayou, the little girl hurt her father because he supposedly had molested her sister. And well, she was very close to her sister. So it would probably like do something to my sister. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Oh, period.
And it's gonna be me and you.
I said period.
Okay.
Yes.
So do something to my sister, and it's gonna be me and you. I don't care what family member you are either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mata?
Yeah. For me, the only person that I could see it being a better world without them, the certain family member I'm thinking about, isn't worth my effort to go out of my way to kill. They had already caused so much like issues and strife in my whole life. Like, it's not worth me to go and kill them and spend the rest of my life in prison or whatever. They had already taken enough of my life away where they are not worth the effort. They are not worth anything anymore. I'm just indifferent. Having said that, when they ultimately do die, it will be a good day for me.
Oh, shit.
Well, okay.
So, to answer, yes, absolutely. At the risk of incriminating myself one day. But the women in my family have always been kind of like the leaders, the backbones, the ones that you can call to help you out with anything. 80% of the men in my family have caused a lot of our pain, our generational curses, just all around suffering. So I don't think I would find it too hard to harm any of them, which sounds very dark and sick. I'm aware of that. The women I would have a hard time harming, but the men, yeah, absolutely. To answer that question short, yes, 100%. So, not to end on a dark note.
Christina, why?
You were in that booth acting an ass.
Goddamn fool. Why?
That was a perfect giggle to end. You were in that booth acting that ass.
I was being pretty stupid that day.
Oh my God, that was amazing. That was fucking amazing. That we could not have planned that any better. That was great.
Oh, apparently there's a I don't know if anyone recorded 4 giggles or 5 giggles, because we were doing 4 giggles each, but there's a 13th giggle.
Oh shit, let's
Do it.
hear that.
There you go.
That was a random one. We should have ended on yours.
We can always just play that one again.
Right. Hit us with yours again. I like that one. That's the one. That's the one. Well, everyone, that will do it for episode 1. Woo. Again, please remember. We're getting a standing ovation from Rachel.
Bow, thank you.
Right, that was Rachel with the standing ovation. We love it.
Yes.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our very new YouTube and Facebook pages. You can find it under the name Blood Sisterz with a Z. That is Sisterz. Blood Sisterz. It's so new, the name might change again.
True that.
Feel free, again, guys, to leave us any comments, love, more love, Rachel broke her mic. Any suggestions on
She's so
any
excited.
cases that you would love for us to cover in the future? Also, feel free to answer our cold-hearted question yourself. Like I said, we'll pose a different question every week at the end of every episode, Sundays, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Or if you have any questions that you want to ask us throughout the show, something more intimate, feel free to send us an email at whattheblood@gmail.com. Anything you ladies want to say?
Thank you for tuning in. We love you long time.
I like it long time.
Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Send us any suggestions that you have, and we'll be sure to include them on one of our future episodes.
Absolutely. So I am Na Tasha Carr with
Rachel Thompson.
Christina Mata.
Flirting with Darkness and Promoting Weird Brown Girl Joy. Until next time.
Toodaloo.